Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video, all in crypto here. And today we have some huge news to share with you coming out of the Polkadot ecosystem over in Dubai at token 2049. Gavin Wood announced and released his grey paper. Now, this is following his release of the yellow paper for Ethereum, which detailed things like the Ethereum virtual machine 10 years ago. We know that Polkadot is going through or is set to go through some pretty serious changes in implementations. And actually, Jam, which is what the grey paper was detailing or is detailing, is a big part of that. And in this video, I want to share with you guys the announcement and sort of share a little bit about Jam, what it is and why I think it is such a big deal. Polkadot, in my opinion, is really positioning itself as a very multi-purpose general blockchain to essentially enable the Web3. So we're going to be diving into all that in this video. And without further ado, let's dive over to Gavin Wood's Twitter, where he actually announced the release of the initial Jam specifications in his grey paper. So this is his announcement. Happy to release the initial Jam spec in the grey paper 10 years after my release of the yellow paper, a proposal for the future of Polkadot. Now, Jam stands for Join, Accumulate, and Machine, a semi-coherent, scalable, trustless VM, standing for virtual machine. And of course, this was announced over in Dubai at token 2049. And it looked like a pretty rainy time over there from what I saw. Obviously, the Polkadot official Twitter account also reported on this. Earlier today, Gav of York unveiled the Jam grey paper. Jam is a protocol combining elements of both Polkadot and Ethereum. It is a prospective path to replace the relay chain with a more modular, minimalistic design. And this is what I mean. So if you think about Polkadot right now, before we dive in a little bit more to all of this, essentially how Polkadot works is you have the relay chain, which is essentially the consensus for Polkadot. It's what secures everything. It's what kind of allows things, enables things. And off of that relay chain, you have parachains right now, right? Which are essentially their own layer one blockchains that are enabled by the relay chain. They inherit billions of dollars worth of value and cross-chain connectivity and other things like that. But in order for you to actually get that relay chain or that parachain slot on the relay chain, you essentially need to win a parachain slot auction. This is very cumbersome. It kind of restricts a lot of people who perhaps would like to build on Polkadot that can't because they don't want to raise all the funds, they don't want to compete, you know, there's limited space, so on and so forth. Whereas what we're seeing is a move already from this kind of parachain model to a core time model where each one of these parachains, the kind of cores that they occupy, if you will, that enable them to become layer one blockchains are essentially going to become like cores in a computer that can change tasks. So it doesn't need to be the parachain and actually can be broken up and do multiple tasks on the one core. So this is this really interesting design. They're doing away with the slot auction model and it's basically a pay-as-you-go model. So if you want to use a core on Polkadot, you can now pay for it. It's going to open the world up to Polkadot really, or Polkadot up to the world, I should say. And actually, that is something quite separate, but Jam is, of course, a part of that. And Jam is actually more of a nimble design for the actual relay chain itself that is essentially going to allow Polkadot to act kind of as Ethereum in the sense that anybody can build on it and they can do it very easily. But the beautiful thing about Polkadot is it is exceptionally scalable because of all these cores, you know, that run off the relay. This kind of parachains comes from this idea of parallelized systems. We see pretty much all blockchains, all layer one blockchains, even Ethereum's roadmap, move towards a system that's parallelized in the sense that it doesn't all just run on the layer one. There's sort of parallels that run with it. And Polkadot was kind of first on that, I do believe. And because of this beautiful consensus mechanism that it runs on, it essentially will have all the kind of benefits of Ethereum and how developers can kind of use it. It's also talking about implementing different languages and different kind of models and not just Substrate. But it will be exceptionally scalable to orders of magnitude. I mean, right now, I think we've got 50 cores. We're looking to, and remember, cores are basically, you could do a certain amount of transactions or capabilities with these cores. Right now we've got 50. We're looking to get into the 500 to 1,000 cores. So Polkadot's going to become this absolute juggernaut of kind of blockchain compute, if you will. And ultimately what this is doing is it's kind of harnessing all the things that Polkadot is amazing at, like how scalable it is, how trustless it is, how interoperable it is, how scalable and secure it is. But it's kind of doing that whilst in Jam, essentially enabling a kind of Ethereum style building to take place, which is really, I think, going to harness the whole thing. And this is the kind of move that we're seeing for Polkadot is we don't want to be this kind of, the whole idea with Polkadot is getting rid and breaking the walls down of these siloed systems. But in doing that with a parachain slot auction model, they kind of siloed themselves from the broader world of developers. Developers equal value. What's really going on with Polkadot is all those barriers are being broken down. And if you look at Polkadot from a purely technical point of view, and I know everybody likes to say I'm in it for the tech, reality is most people are here to make money. Is there an issue with that? Is there not? That's for you guys to decide. I personally think you can do both. But what's going on here is, if you look at Polkadot from a kind of tech point of view, it really is superior, and it has one of the richest ecosystems in the entire crypto space, and that is only set to grow. But let's dive back into what we were originally talking about. So you can see this was announced. They tag Gavin Wood here. You can see everyone, of course, going pretty crazy about his haircut. I think he obviously must have had a hair transplant. No comments, please, by the way, guys, in regards to my own personal hairstyle. But a bit of a shock in regards to him coming out with essentially no hair. But let's read on a little bit. You can see they go on to say, in a single cohort model, Jam provides a global singleton permissionless object environment, much like smart contract environment pioneered by Ethereum, paired with secure sideband computation parallelized over a scalable node network, a proposition pioneered by Polkadot. So again, I think Polkadot is very early on this kind of parallelized system, this idea of not doing everything on one kind of chain, if you will, but kind of duplicating that thing that secures the one chain multiple times and creating like spin-off cores and kind of being able to scale via that, but maintain the underlying security. Cardano's Ouroboros is very similar to this, and it's why we actually like Cardano as a result of its consensus. So Jam will also include a parachain service that will support existing substrate-based parachains, allowing devs to continue using substrate for blockchain development and deployment. The only way to interact with Jam will be with DOT, so you need the DOT token. No new token will be issued. A decentralized protocol should support multiple client implementations. The Jam Implementers Prize funds project to enhance Jam's development, promoting a variety of implementations in different languages, strengthening the ecosystem foundations. So, layman's terms, breaking this down, Polkadot is probably, in my opinion, I've studied many blockchains. Polkadot is up there in terms of hard blockchains or complicated blockchains to understand, because many moving parts to it. It does things completely differently to most other blockchains out there, and there's lots of sort of elements to it. But what this is meaning is that you aren't just going to be able to use Substrate to build on Polkadot. This Jam Implementers Prize or people kind of putting a bounty on people looking to implement different languages into Jam. So that means things like EVM, inherent, you can build in basically what they're looking to do is bring multiple languages, multiple coding languages to Jam, so anybody and everyone can build on it. This is what I mean by Polkadot is actually really positioning themselves to be this kind of multi-purpose general blockchain that is exceptionally scalable and quite frankly better than the rest that anybody can use. And to use this service, you're going to need DOT to do so. You can see the Web3 announcing the Implementers Prize, 10 million DOT. So if anybody is interested in that, if you're a developer or you think you can kind of help out, you know what to do, go over to the Polkadot Twitter page or website or the Web3 Foundation. It's Twitter. So the community must approve Jam via the Polkadot's on-chain decentralized governance. The proposal has been submitted to the root track for the community to decide on its scope and direction. Jam Wiki is also here. So yeah, you've got the proposal that's now up. You can see that I'm logged in here with my 20 million DOT. So proposal for Jam, ratification, performance by Polkadot fellows. Again, Polkadot, some of the language that's used, it's just hard to understand. That's what we're here for, to hopefully try and break it down and understand it a little bit more. But I think this is going to get through. There's already 20 million DOT for it and only 16 dot against it, or 16,000 dot against it. I don't know who's voting no on this. Of course, this is the idea of, not everyone's going to be, you can't please everyone. But I do think this is going to pass. Of course, this is the grey paper. We'll just read the abstract and then we'll sort of close the video up because I think we've gone on for long enough. But this is huge. Again, Polkadot really sort of purposing itself as this very multi-purpose generic, but I don't use generic in a negative term. I use generic actually in a good sense. The internet, for example, you want to be able to use the internet in whatever language you want, in whatever coding language you want, and from any kind of a standpoint, and it needs to be accessible for all. And quite frankly, Polkadot simply isn't. This is all about changing that and kind of making Polkadot multi-purpose, general, and harnessing the technology that it actually had, because it is superior on so many levels. So the abstract, we present a comprehensive and formal definition of Jam, a protocol combining elements of both Polkadot and Ethereum in a single coherent model. Jam provides a global, singleton, permissionless, objective environment, much like smart contract environment pioneered by Ethereum, paired with secure sideband computation parallelized over a scalable node network, a proposition pioneered by Polkadot. Jam introduces a decentralized hybrid system offering smart contract functionality structured around a secure and scalable in-core on-chain dualism. This is what I mean by the language. Sometimes I'm just like, come on, man. Normal people are not going to understand this. While the smart contract functionality implies some similarities with Ethereum's paradigm, the overall model of the service offered is driven largely by underlying architecture of Polkadot. Jam is permissionless in nature, allowing anyone to deploy code as a service on it for a fee commensurate with the resources this code utilizes, and to include execution of this code through the procurement and allocation of core time, a metric of resilient and ambiguous computation, somewhat similar to the purchasing of gas in Ethereum. We already envision a Polkadot compatible core chain services. So this is huge. I'm all for this. We will be doing a price update at some point on Polkadot, sort of telling you guys where, as a technical analyzer, I think it's at. I don't think it looks too bad at all. In fact, I think it looks very similar to what many altcoins did going into 2021. So we are expecting great things for Polkadot, and I think fundamentally there's this great narrative and positioning that's taking place with all these new implementations that I'm absolutely on board and excited to see. So I want to know your thoughts in the comment section, guys. What do you think about this announcement? Have you read the grey paper? The grey paper is 58 pages long. I still need to sit down and read the whole thing, but once I've done that, we will be doing a more in-depth review, sort of really highlighting some of the new changes that are looking to be implemented and kind of understanding it on more of a deep level. That's all from me, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed the content, like us, appreciate it as a comment, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next.